Business organizations hold a lot of confidential information. Disclosure of information to third parties may impact on individuals, the organization. Personal data is anything that identifies a living individual, for example, name or contact details. It is also anything that can be related to a living individual, for example, a unique account number showing the current salary of a job post when there is only one person carrying out that job. Disclosing personal information may result in ID or financial fraud, unsolicited contact, nuisance calls, loss of customer or client trust, as well as infringing the Data Protection Act. The Data Protection Act has been written to protect any living, identifiable individual from the misuse of unauthorized disclosure of personal data. The term personal data also covers any expression of opinion about the individual. Organizations holding personal data require now to register with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioners and pay the current annual fee. Under the Data Protection Act, data is classed as information recorded or processed by a computer, or information recorded as part of a relevant filing system. Failure to register is a criminal offence. All organisations must comply with what are known as the 8 principles of the Data Protection Act. The Act states the amount of information that may be held, how long it can be held for, and what it can be used for. All data must be obtained and processed fairly and lawfully, i.e., that the individual has given consent and has not been misled. Personal data will be obtained and used for only one or more specified and lawful purpose, and should not be processed for any other purpose. Personal data should be adequate, relevant, and not excessive. Personal data should be accurate and, when necessary, kept up to date. Personal data should be kept no longer than the purpose it requires. Data should be processed in accordance with the data subject's, this is the individual's, rights. These are the right to access information held about them, the right to prevent processing that would cause damage or distress, the right to prevent processing for direct marketing purposes, the right to compensation if damage is suffered as a result of the Act not being followed. There are exemptions to the Act. For example, if the exemption is required for the purpose of national security, but generally organisations holding personal data must register with the Information Commissioner's Office. The Act exists to protect you and ensure your personal data is not misused or passed on to others inappropriately. Here are the general measures for the security and confidentiality of information. These come in 2 sections. The first is paper-based information. For this, you should have lockable filing cabinets. Confidential documents should be clearly marked, with restricted circulation. All unwanted copies should be shredded, and files should not be allowed off-site. For all information that is held on a computer, you should have adequate virus protection, a firewall, access passwords, and backup systems. The Copyright Designs and Patents Act of 1988 limits what you can copy or distribute to others. An author automatically owns the copyright to any material or book they write, provided they have expended more than negligible labour, skill, and effort in the creation of the work. You can also only use extracts from the material or book under certain circumstances. For example, if you acknowledge the source of the material, the author, the title, the date it was published, and the publisher's name. Photocopying is not permissible unless the document or book states otherwise. Using newspapers or magazine cuttings also requires the permission of the publication they appear in. Copyright also covers music, films, and TV broadcasts. The government's intellectual property website, www.ipo.gov.uk, states that intellectual property, often known as IP, allows people to own their creativity and innovation in the same way that they can own physical property. The owner of IP can control and be rewarded for its use, and this encourages further innovation and creativity to the benefit of us all. Whilst patents, registered designs, and trademarks need to be applied for, and you will only get protection if what you have is something that can be protected by these types of IP. The UK Patent Office accepts applications and grants rights in each of these areas. The four main types of IP are patents for inventions. These are new and improved products and processes that are capable of industrial application. Trademarks for brand identity of goods and services, allowing distinctions to be made between different traders. Designs for product appearance of the whole or a part of a product resulting from the features of, in particular, the lines, contours, colours, shape, textures, or materials of the product itself or its ornamentation. Copyright for material. Literary and artistic material, music, films, sound recordings and broadcasts, including software and multimedia.